students. Welcome to my class. Easy Maths JYOTHI.I.S.B.SC. It's a class for 8th standard students, CBSE NCERT syllabus and also for Karnataka state students. In this, the chapter name is Understanding Quadrilaterals. Under that, we studied the kinds of quadrilaterals. In that, we are studying in detail about the parallelogram. It is one of the quadrilateral. The parallelogram. Let us study the elements of parallelogram. The elements which are involved in the parallelogram. You know that parallelogram is a quadrilateral with 4-line segment. It's a closed figure bounded by 4-line segments. Along with, you know that the opposite sides are parallel to each other. Two sets of parallel lines are there. Here, look at the diagram. Elements of parallelogram. Just give a name for a parallelogram. It is a PQRS. Here, PQRS is a parallelogram. PQRS is a parallelogram. In that, let us study the elements. What are those? Here, elements are opposite sides will come. What are opposite sides? Opposite sides. Look at the picture. Come on, name the opposite sides. Here, PS and QR are opposite sides. PS and QR are opposite sides. Okay, are you following? PS and QR are opposite sides, and PQ and RS are also opposite sides. Understood, students? The opposite sides are PS and QR and PQ and SR. These are opposite sides. Then what do you mean by adjacent sides? Adjacent sides. Adjacent means side by side. Adjacent, for example, if you consider side PQ. For PQ, the adjacent sides is QR. PQ and QR are adjacent side, and for QR and RS, QR and RS are adjacent sides. And if you take RS and PS are adjacent sides. RS and PS are adjacent sides, and also PS and PQ. PS and PQ are adjacent sides. Understood? Here, if you move like this, QR and RS are adjacent sides. RS and SP are PS are adjacent sides, and SP and PQ are adjacent sides. Then these are opposite sides and adjacent sides. Then opposite angles. Which are opposite angles? Opposite angles, come on, tell me. Yes, angle P and angle R are opposite angles. And here angle Q and angle S. Angle Q and angle S are opposite angles. Then come on, tell me the adjacent angles. Adjacent angles are those which are less side by side. Here angle Q and angle R, or angle Q and angle R, and then angle R and angle S, angle R and angle S, and then angle S and angle P, angle S and angle P, and angle P and angle Q, angle P and angle Q. Okay, students, you got it? The elements involved in a parallelogram, opposite sides, you came to know that, and adjacent sides, you can write. For sides, you can put a bar on those. Okay. and adjacent sides. We came to know that which are lying side by side, and opposite angles are the angles which are in the opposite sides. Adjacent angles are angles which are at side by side. These are the elements of the parallelogram. Let us study the properties of a parallelogram. For example, it is a parallelogram. ABCD is a parallelogram. First property is opposite sides of a parallelogram are equal. Opposite sides of a parallelogram are equal. This is a property of a parallelogram. First property is opposite sides of a parallelogram are equal. Here we came to know that which are opposite sides. Okay, here if for AD the opposite side is BC and for AB the opposite side is CD. The opposite sides of a parallelogram are equal in length. Equal in length. Okay, therefore we can write, for it is a parallelogram, therefore opposite sides of AD and BC. Therefore AD and BC are opposite sides of a parallelogram. Therefore, according to the property 1, we can write AD is equals to BC. Okay. Here, consider AB and CD. These two are opposite sides of a parallelogram. Isn't it? Here we took PQ and SR. Here AB and CD. Here AB and CD are opposite sides of a parallelogram, but therefore we can, according to the property 1, opposite sides of a parallelogram are equal in length. Therefore AB is equals to CD. This is the property 1. Okay students, you got it? Yes. Next, property 2. Let us consider one more parallelogram, that is equals to PQ or S. It is a parallelogram. Here the opposite sides are, what we can know that the opposite sides are equal, and also here opposite angles of a parallelogram. Opposite angles of a parallelogram are equal. Are equal in measure. Here we studied that which are the opposite angles. For angle P, angle R is a opposite angle, and here for angle Q, angle S is the opposite angle. Like that, here also for angle P and R, angle P and angle R are the opposite angles of a parallelogram. Therefore, they are having the equal measure. If we consider this, and for Q and here also, yes, these two angles, angle Q and angle S are opposite angles of a parallelogram. Therefore, these two angles are having equal in measure. This is according to the property 2. Now let us study the property 3 and property 4. Property 3. Okay, consider a parallelogram like this. Okay, students. Yes, I'm writing a parallelogram. Okay, It is nearest to the parallelogram. Yes, give one name. EFGH. Okay. In this, EFGH is a parallelogram. EFGH is a parallelogram. Parallelogram. According to the third property, what is the third property? The sum of the adjacent angle is supplementary. In a parallelogram, the sum of the adjacent here I am writing the sum of adjacent angles of a parallelogram are supplementary. We came to know that what are adjacent angles? The angles E and F and the angles F and G, the angles G and H and angles H and E and E and F. All these are adjacent angles. The sum of adjacent angles of a parallelogram are supplementary. What do you mean by supplementary? If you add any two adjacent angles, their sum must be 180 degree. For example, if you consider F and G, if you add these two angles, the sum will be 180 degree. For example, if you add G and H, and their sum will be 180 degree. Like that. Here, angle E plus angle F. These two are adjacent angles. The sum of these two angles is equals to 180 degree. Supplementary means if you add those supplement means 180 degree. And angle F plus angle G is equals to 180 degree. These two are adjacent angles. We consider angle G plus angle H is equals to 180 degree, and angle H and angle E are angle H plus angle E are adjacent angles. The sum is also 180 degree. I hope you understood this. Next, the property number 4. Okay, students. Property 4. Property 4. Here the property 4 is the diagonals of a parallelogram. The diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other at a point of intersection. Here given the property about the diagonals of a parallelogram. Okay, consider a parallelogram. In that you have to mention the diagonals, and then you have to write those diagonals are bisect each other at the point of intersection. Okay, it is a parallelogram. Okay, right. Give the name A, B, C, D and write the diagonals. If we join the opposite angles, that is a diagonal. Okay, yes, AC and BD are the diagonals. Okay, students, here it's a parallelogram ABCD, and here the diagonals are BD and AC. They are meeting at O. According to the property 4, the diagonals of parallelogram bisect each other at a point of intersection. Now, what is the meaning of bisects? They divide equally into two parts. Bisects means they are divides equally into two parts. And thus these are bisects, BD and AC. Here diagonals are AC and BD are diagonals, which are bisects. Bisects means they divide into two equal parts. Therefore, AO is equals to OC, isn't it? AO is equals to OC and DO is equals to BO, and DO is equals to BO. Okay, students, you understand? Yes, these are the properties of a parallelogram. This property 1 is opposite sides of a parallelogram are having the equal length, and the second property is opposite angles of a parallelogram are having equal measure, and the third one is the sum of the adjacent angles of a parallelogram are supplementary. That means if you add the two adjacent angles, the sum is equals to 180 degree. And the fourth one is the diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. That means they divide into two equal parts. Okay, students, this is all about the properties of the parallelogram and also the elements of the parallelogram. Let us come to the end of my class. Keep watching my videos and do subscribe. Thank you for watching, students. Okay, bye-bye.